Inside the Black Giant Hall, due to the powerful soul force and the protection of the sacred flame, Xiao and Xun'er were not detected by the strong beings that resided there. The two of them, however, were focused on the 10 stone pillars, where black chains extended from their tops, binding 3 figures tightly, their brows furrowed in concern. At this moment, the black chains seemed to be like life-consuming vines, tightly coiling around the 3 figures, rendering them immobile. Their aura gradually weakened, and their faces turned pale. The 3 figures were, of course, the elderly guardian from the Poison God Palace, who had reached the threefold reincarnation stage, the bamboo spirit hermit whom they had met once before at the burial demon river, and a cold, stunning woman covered in black curse marks. Xun'er, perhaps due to her woman's intuition or some other reason, felt a slight stir in her heart as she saw Su Xueying's position. The void inside the Black Giant Hall was filled with a deathly silence, and the remnants of violent energy were still lingering, clearly indicating that a fierce battle had just concluded. Above the hall, there was a black throne made of thorns, upon which a strange black gaseous orb floated, emitting faint, ominous auras. The one who controls the sacred flame, huh? A wild voice emerged from the thorn throne, and in the black mist, a pair of blood-red eyes stared greedily at the bound Su Xueying. At this moment, Su Xueying's body was covered in enchanting black curse marks, though her body trembled, and the black flames inside her were slowly being shattered, gathering toward the thorn throne. It was evident that she had fallen victim to the cunning plot of the mysterious shadow, with her power being devoured little by little. Inside the giant hall, apart from the interwoven stone pillars and chains, the blackened ground was in complete chaos. Half a skull, with hair stiffened and coagulated in blood, lay amidst the remains of shattered bones. The entire hall was filled with terrifying, grisly corpses. One relatively intact body had its eyes tightly squeezed shut, as if it had witnessed something horrifying in its final moments. It was obvious that these people were all powerful members of the Poison God Palace, but as they looked at the wreckage of the giant hall, an ominous aura slowly spread. This guy is absorbing and devouring the essence of the sacred flame controller? Xun'er gasped in disbelief, and the void they hid in subtly warped. Heh, seems like things are getting interesting around here. A chilling voice, like the scythe of death, rang out from the shadow above the thorn throne. This aura? The 3 faintly flickering orbs of light atop the stone pillars simultaneously whispered in low voices. Looks like we're truly fated to meet. The words of the demon language, heavenly book, weren't wrong. The bamboo spirit hermit's voice trembled, and then his gaze shifted toward a graceful figure beside him. After parting from Xiao, the bamboo spirit hermit had traveled far and wide, and during one chance encounter, he met Su Xueying, who was caught in the turbulence of space-time. After understanding her situation, he decided to bring her to the demon god realm, but was caught off guard by this turn of events. No. The graceful figure nearby trembled, then lowered her head, desperately trying to conceal her face. For now, Su Xueying, with her fair skin and once beautiful face, was now being eroded by the sacred flame's demonic fire, with sinister curse marks corrupting her original ethereal aura, leaving behind nothing but a demonic presence. She now resembled nothing more than a witch. Using the movement of her body, Su Xueying could faintly see a fairy-like woman accompanying Xiao, her body seemingly beyond her control, and a sharp, heart-wrenching pain pierced her chest as tears streamed down her face. Weakness, helplessness, and despair surged from her heart, overwhelming her with grief. Why? Why are you doing this to me? Su Xueying's chest heaved, her eyes filled with tears and fury, and she unknowingly activated her Do core, faintly on the verge of a strange and dangerous madness. Go ahead, Xiao spoke calmly, and as he grasped Xun'er's hand, they took a step forward. The void in a certain part of the giant hall suddenly twisted, transforming into a dazzling flame barrier. Since Su Xueying was desperately hiding her condition, no one noticed her plight. Another sacred flame? The shadow above the thorn throne stood up, donning a black robe, and revealed an eerie smile. Clang! The harsh sound of metal chains clashing echoed through the hall as the old man in black robes stepped on the chains, smiling slyly at the two of them. Be careful. This is the sole harbinger of the demon god realm. His strength is comparable to the threefold reincarnation stage, and his magical powers are extremely cunning. I fell for his trap before. The powerful figure of the threefold reincarnation stage in the Poison God Palace was shaken in mind and immediately spoke up. I was expecting to catch a big fish, but instead, two puny shrimp soldiers showed up. Looks like this so-called new poison god is nothing but a rumor. The Soul Reaper gave a faint smile, and behind her, the black robe materialized with countless eerie ghosts, making the atmosphere unusually creepy and strange. This aura, it feels somewhat like the power from the ghost realm. What's going on here? Xiao furrowed his brows and immediately began to keep a close eye on the Soul Reaper's movements. Even the threefold reincarnation stage and bamboo spirit hermit were defeated by her. Xiao did not believe that she was an ordinary person. You seem to be intentionally avoiding this person? Inside the light sphere, bamboo spirit hermit spoke again. Since Xiao appeared, this typically aloof and indifferent figure was clearly flustered. This person seems to know Big Brother Xiao. A woman's intuition is always sharp. Xun'er looked up at Su Xueying's current demeanor and immediately guessed. Ahem. This person is the protector of our Xiao clan. The Xiao clan did something wrong to her, so it's only natural that she hates me. Xiao paused for a moment, hurriedly explaining. Let's hope so. Xun'er let out a heavy sigh. As a prodigy from an ancient clan, her temperament was gentle, but she absolutely could not allow her love to be divided constantly. The matter with Sister Kai Lin was an accident, and she had no other choice but to split her love in two. The situation with Mu Yingying came too suddenly, and she had no way to deal with it. She couldn't bear to hurt the innocent girl again, so her love was divided into three. After the matter with Little Fairy Doctor, Xun'er understood some of Xiao hidden thoughts. She feared that her love would eventually be divided into four. If Little Fairy Doctor succeeded, Yun would naturally, dividing into five. Every time she thought about this, Xun'er's heart ached. Who doesn't want to find a perfect husband and be a princess for just one person? Dividing love into 3, 4, or even more. It was truly fine. With so many sacred flames, I suppose it's not a wasted visit. Hand over all the sacred flame seeds inside your bodies. Wong. From the black robe, countless eerie ghosts flew out and quickly sealed off the entire ominous hall. The chilling winds made the mind waver, filling everyone with a deep sense of fear. You bastard! Looking at the countless corpses and bones scattered throughout the giant hall, and the elderly figure on the stone pillar alongside the severely wounded Su Xueying, Xiao body trembled slightly, his eyes brimming with a cold, killing intent. He held no romantic feelings for Su Xueying, but because of the Xiao clan's wrongdoing, he felt guilty toward her. After returning to the Boundless Fire domain, he originally planned to make amends, but she mysteriously disappeared. Xiao had no power to help. Now, to meet again under such circumstances, his anger could not be contained. Xun'er, trust me. I leave this to you. Xiao spoke softly, an endless amount of purgatory flames surging around him. A streak of molten lava from hell emerged, carrying a fierce killing intent. Impudent brat. The Soul Reaper sneered coldly, a strange sound of chewing emanating from her mouth. Upon closer inspection, it was revealed that what she was chewing on were severed finger bones. Poochie. A phantom-like hand extended, gathering black ghostly energy into a bizarre hand surrounded by fluorescent light, silently aiming for Xiao crown. Seeing the Soul Reaper's incoming attack, Xiao eyes flashed with murderous intent. Facing such a terrifying strike from the threefold reincarnation stage, there was not even a trace of retreat. He stepped forward, his fist enveloped in surging glassy flames, accompanied by a whistling wind, and shot forward. Poochie. The fire fist collided head-on with the soul hand, and the violent explosion of energy rang out, creating a devastating energy storm. Wong. In the blink of an eye, the powerful energy storm surged, and Xiao Yan's body was forced back dozens of meters. In contrast, the Soul Reaper's phantom black robe still stood firm on the dark chains without budging. Power from the ghost realm, and possibly some evil force from an extraterritorial evil clan? Is this magic power? Xiao Yan took a few steps back, his gaze becoming serious. The flame mantra and fire inside him began to churn, and a powerful energy began to slowly emerge. The Soul Reaper before him was indeed perplexing, but her true threefold reincarnation stage strength, combined with such bizarre powers, was enough to truly move Xiao Yan. Are all those who possess the sacred flame this pathetic? How laughable! Inside the Poison God Palace, the powerful cultivators at the threefold reincarnation stage, including the Bamboo Spirit Hermit, were no match for Su Xueying, who controlled the sacred flame. All three were defeated and bound, unable to resist. Now, their arrival only brought more sorrow. Humph! As the Soul Reaper's laughter faded, the stone pillars and the air inside the massive hall suddenly began to tremble. A terrifying energy slowly emerged. In midair, centered around Xiao Yan's body, a flame ripple filled with an ancient aura slowly spread outward. As it spread, it carried with it a murderous power, and countless flame ripples descended to the ground. Gate of Purgatory. The voice, filled with fury, roared like thunder, sweeping across the sky. As it spread, the eerie aura inside the hall faded significantly. At that moment, the entire hall trembled, and countless flames formed a black stone door in front of everyone. The black stone door was covered with eerie and strange black runes. Along with these sinister, strange forces, the overwhelming sacred energy of the sacred flame surged, powerful enough to suffocate. Black ghostly flames swirled around the stone door, their power even more terrifying. Grumble. What a powerful fluctuation. The threefold reincarnation stage cultivators of the Poison God Palace and the Bamboo Spirit Hermit exchanged looks, clearly sensing a terrifying force from this level of attack. Great immortal arts? The stone pillars shifted, and black chains, as though provoked, carried the Soul Reaper and looked down at Xiao Yan. Although the sacred flame and the great immortal arts were powerful, Xiao Yan's strength alone was not enough to truly move the Soul Reaper. At that moment, a layer of crystalline energy, like pure energy crystals, slowly enveloped the Soul Reaper. Gate of Purgatory close. Suppress. Xiao Yan's body was surrounded by glazed fire, which immediately transformed into beautiful patterns all over his body. The ancient Gate of Purgatory began to expand, and before it could even act, it immediately enveloped the entire hall, releasing an indescribable pressure. Ghost Realm. Soul-devouring reincarnation. Demon Realm. Demon heart devours gods. Looking at the two forces, the Ghost Realm and the Demon Realm, swirling around the Soul Reaper, Xiao Yan's mind raced, and he let out a sharp shout. Two extremely weak but incomprehensibly powerful forces inside his body surged outward. Whoosh! What is this? Even though Xiao Yan had just used the sacred flame to unleash an immortal art attack, the Soul Reaper showed no fear. But when the two weak forces emerged from Xiao Yan's body and merged into the Gate of Purgatory, the Soul Reaper's heart violently contracted and began to pound fiercely. At this moment, the black and eerie Gate of Purgatory seemed to become an insurmountable chasm. The flames and energy scattered from it began to crumble and devour all the power within the Soul Reaper's body. You? Who did you say was weak? Xiao Yan's body tilted, resembling a curtain of the heavens crashing down. The overwhelming pressure of tens of thousands of pounds crushed the Soul Reaper to the ground. The sound of bones grinding filled the air, as though they could break apart at any moment. Ah! As the Gate of Purgatory descended, its immense size rapidly shrank, then completely enveloped the Soul Reaper's body. A heart-wrenching roar echoed. At this moment, the Soul Reaper, suppressed by the Ghost Realm Divine Manual and the Demon Realm Divine Manual, along with the immense pressure from the Gate of Purgatory, felt as though it had fallen into an unknown realm. All the power within its body became momentarily inaccessible. With the body of a mere mortal, how could one resist ancient taboos? The black aura from the Ghost Realm Divine Manual and the dark aura from the Demon Realm Divine Manual slowly seeped into the Soul Reaper's body through the gate of Purgatory. The Soul Reaper's eyes filled with endless horror. As these two auras entered its body, both its body and soul grew numb, and it felt as if its body was slowly dissolving. Demon Realm creatures, unless standing at the peak of the Demon Realm, could not escape the suppression of the Demon Realm Divine Manual, not even Xiao, who only understood its basics, because the term Divine Manual contained too many rules and laws from this realm. Of course, if a strong cultivator from the human realm used the Human Realm Divine Manual to suppress Xiao, he would not fear it, thanks to his flame mantra. This guy. At this moment, the Soul Reaper's aura and vitality rapidly faded away. Though Xiao was gasping for breath, Su Xueying, who had been agitated, fell silent. She looked at Xiaoyan's figure with a complicated expression. A powerful being like the threefold reincarnation stage Soul Reaper had been so easily defeated by Xiao. Whoosh! However, even Su Xueying herself hadn't noticed that, due to her recent exhaustion, all the power within her body seemed to have been consumed by demonic energy. Even the magic fire inside her sacred flame was slowly dissolving into her blood and skin. The black demon blood had completely transformed her identity, evolving her from a being of the human realm into one of the demon realm. Fall. With a wave of his hand, endless divine energy poured into the Purgatory gate, causing a hum to echo through the void. The black stone pillars inside the grand hall, along with the chains bearing immense suppressive power, suddenly exploded. The strange power faded along with the sound of rocks and chains shattering, slowly turning to dust and disappearing. No matter how powerful the Soul Reaper's force was, under the combined restraint of the two divine forces, it was like an infant, unable to stir up any major turbulence. Senior, are you all right? With the crisis resolved, Xun'er waved her jade hand and quickly tore away the energy barrier that had trapped the three. It's nothing. Thank you for your help. The elder left behind by the Poison God Palace looked at Xiao with a gratified expression. Naturally, he was aware of everything that had recently happened in the Poison God Palace, but he was unable to return due to his responsibility of guarding the border. Now that he saw these two humans from the human realm who helped the Poison God, both their strength and character were of the highest caliber. Senior, what happened here? Xiao turned and asked the elder. He didn't rush to question Su Xueying or Bamboo Spirit Hermit, as the two of them standing together clearly had an extraordinary connection. The Soul Reaper was once from the Ghost Realm. Later, he was exiled and joined the control of the Demon God Realm. The combination of Ghost Realm and Demon Realm powers makes him a force that even some peak cultivators at the threefold reincarnation stage would struggle to deal with. Moreover, his power and aura are not within the range of our Demon Realm's central authorities' records. Our defenses were lax, and that's how he managed to infiltrate. I suspect this is also why the strong from the Demon God Realm heard of the Poison God's return and had no choice but to send out reinforcements. The elder spoke slowly, then activated his terrifying poison power to repair the spatial rifts in the Grand Hall. These rifts were the conduits connecting the Demon God Realm and the Poison God Realm. If they were destroyed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Thankfully, with Xiaoyan's help, the situation was more or less under control. Otherwise, if even one seal had loosened, the Demon God Realm would have launched a large-scale invasion. With his strength and position, he would have no face to face the elders and strong members of the Poison God Palace. Because the Poison God Realm was already in a time of turmoil, and absolutely could not withstand two realm-level wars. Xiao, brother. Xun'er walked up and supported the weak Xiao. She then turned to look at Su Xueying in front of her. The woman before her was as light as a swallow, exuding an aura of arrogance. Her gaze toward Xiao was filled with deep resentment, clearly indicating that there was more to their relationship. Poof! Just as Xiao and Xun'er were speaking, a graceful figure in the distance trembled violently. A mouthful of scarlet blood was sprayed out from her jade lips. The blood was crimson, but it didn't resemble typical human blood. It was mixed with a frenzied demonic power. Are you all right? Xiao took a deep breath and spoke gently. Even though Su Xueying lowered her head to try to conceal her appearance and figure, Xiao could still see through it with his keen senses. Moreover, the aura within her now was vastly different from before, suggesting that something was terribly wrong. I'm fine. Su Xueying suddenly raised her head, her eyes surrounded by demonic fire, locking onto the pair of perfect partners before her. The sight was so shocking that it once again pierced her heart, sending waves of bitterness through her soul. Although Su Xueying had long heard of Xiao establishing the boundless fire domain, with several matriarchs in his domain, seeing it in person still brought unbearable pain to her heart. Su Xueying, the matter with the Xiao clan is indeed our fault, but things are not as you think. Old Wind controls all the secrets. Come back with me, and all misunderstandings will be cleared. Xiao didn't shy away, locking eyes with Su Xueying's gaze full of resentment. No need. I don't believe the Xiao clan. Before Xiao could finish, Su Xueying rejected him outright. You. Xun'er was naturally furious when she heard this. Then what do you want? You keep saying that we of the Xiao clan are heartless and ungrateful, but when the Great Thousand Worlds was on the brink of collapse, who stepped forward to protect this world? Even though our Xiao clan has borne countless accusations, has any of us ever complained? What more do you want? Xiao was infuriated, his voice rising like an angry lion. I want your life. Su Xueying was momentarily stunned by Xiao words, but the next moment, she was filled with fury and spoke nonsense in a fit of rage. Ryup. If you need it, take it. Xiao, with his weak body, took a step forward and tore open his chest, fully revealing his heart to Su Xueying. You madman! Bamboo Spirit Hermit, let's go. Xiao, I will remember this kindness. The sound faded, and Su Xueying covered her wound, dragging her battered body as she turned and left. After this incident, their relationship would probably become much more distant. Sigh. Since ancient times, heroes and talents, who can overcome matters of the heart? Since fate has brought us together, why not let me perform a divination for you? Bamboo Spirit Hermit shook his head, suddenly struck by a moment of inspiration. Boom buzz. A magnificent ancient book, about the size of a palm, appeared at the center of Bamboo Spirit Hermit's brow, twisting through the void and descending before him. This is? The elder beside him was filled with a sense of heavy air and shock. He stared at the ancient book in front of Bamboo Spirit Hermit, unable to speak for a long while. The demon language heavenly book? Is this the legendary object that records countless secrets of the demon realm? A moment later, Xiao inhaled deeply and exclaimed in astonishment. Take a wisp of your essence for use. Bamboo Spirit Hermit held the ancient book with one hand, and an overwhelming aura of majesty surrounded him. Drip? Xiao extended his hand, and a wisp of primal energy surged forward, gently landing on the ancient book. Under the operation of Bamboo Spirit Hermit, Xiao primal energy was manipulated with a flick of his fingers, causing the legendary ancient book to begin flipping. Rip? The pure, transparent white pages turned slowly, each flip seeming to cross through endless years. After a long while, the pages of the heavenly book suddenly froze in the void, and the images began to manifest on the pages. In the scene, there was a bottomless abyss, with a gap that resembled a deep well emerging within it. Next to this gap, the figures of Xiao and Su Xueying appeared once more, their gazes slowly fixed on something within the deep well. Beneath the well, there seemed to be an ancient object, sharp like a sword. Time seemed to freeze, and nothing moved for a long while. This is the language of the heavenly book. Even I cannot decipher it. I hope we have a chance to meet again in the future. I will take good care of this girl. After all, I have ties to the demon god realm, and her potential is quite remarkable. With that, Bamboo Spirit Hermit put away the heavenly book and stepped into the void, setting off to pursue Su Xueying. The prophetic images from the heavenly book lingered in Xiao mind, but no matter how much he tried to explore, it remained only a half-understood mystery. Xiao Gij. After both of them had disappeared from sight, Xun'er finally crossed her arms, her face adorned with a playful smile as she looked at Xiao. Ahem. This matter is a long story. Xiao cleared his throat, trying to brush it off, but unfortunately, Xun'er was not so easily fooled. Xun'er remained silent, her long lashes fluttering slightly, so captivating yet beneath this softness, there seemed to be the rumble of a volcano, barely contained within her. This matter begins with a bead. After the events at the Demon Realm Void Mansion concluded, Xiao and Xun'er carefully explained everything that happened with Su Xueying. While Xun'er was angry, her playful nature kept her from holding a grudge. After handling some more matters in the Demon Realm and passing on concerns to the Elder guarding the Void Mansion to inform Little Fairy Doctor, Xiao and Xun'er finally felt at ease and left, embarking on their journey back to the Boundless Fire Domain. A month later, the two successfully broke through the void, leaving the temporal wormhole and returning to the region of the Boundless Fire Domain. Hey. You two, what are you sneaking around here for? That is our Boundless Fire Domain's headquarters, surrounded by the sacred flame under the wisdom of our matriarch, truly a holy land. As they returned to the Boundless Fire Domain, Xiao and Xun'er couldn't help but exchange glances when they saw the world at the center, enveloped in a sea of fiery red lava. The lava world was filled with a humble yet powerful energy, with grand buildings standing within, towering majestically. This guy. Xiao gazed at the endless boundless fire domain within the lava world and was momentarily stunned upon hearing the voice of what seemed like a patrolling guard. It seemed that only now could the Boundless Fire Domain truly be called Boundless Fire Domain. The lingering glow of fire was enduring and overwhelmingly powerful. Hey. I'm talking to you too. On a mountain peak near them, a sweet voice called out from a distance. Doshin? Reaching the Doshin stage at such a young age, that's some impressive talent. However, the energy within this guy seems to be far more powerful than ordinary fire-type powers. Xun'er squinted her eyes at the core of the fire domain, and familiar fluctuations emerged. It seemed that the core fire element in the depths of the boundless fire domain brought an undeniable warmth. These fire elements, they should belong to Ying, right? With a glance, Xun'er smiled faintly and spoke. Let's go. We've been away for so long. It's time to return. The boundless fire domain has changed so much. Two bursts of laughter followed, and they transformed into shooting stars, speeding toward the center of the lava world. Gurgle, such strange people. But their appearance seems to resemble those legendary figures from the core of the boundless fire domain. The continent of Dodi has now been fully integrated. With the strong development of some higher-ups in the boundless fire domain, the domain, while still unable to stand at the peak of the human realm, has firmly established itself in the Great Thousand Worlds. Two matriarchs. An envoy has arrived at the center of the human realm. However, this person's identity seems to be filled with doubts. The door of the main palace of the matriarch was gently pushed open, and Yen Qi walked in with a pale complexion, clearly appearing grave and complicated. Sister Kailin, what is this? Mu Ying, who had been quietly handling some matters inside the hall, frowned slightly upon hearing this, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. The center of the human realm? This was the pinnacle force that controlled the entire human realm, even more powerful and profound than the Great Thousand Palace. After all, it was the representative of the peak power in the entire human realm. Now, they had sent an envoy to the Boundless Fire Domain. What could this be about? A bad feeling surged in Mu Ying's heart. Let's go. Follow me to meet this person. Now that Xiao is not here, we must be cautious and not act recklessly. Kailin, dressed in a gown, smiled slightly as she spoke to Mu Ying, looking like a caring older sister. Yet, she too was filled with doubt. Why would the center of the human realm be focusing on the Boundless Fire Domain? During the time Xiao and Xun'er had been away, the Boundless Fire Domain had secretly received support from the Elven clan and the Great Thousand Palace, so no other force dared to openly conflict with it. Furthermore, with some of Mu Ying's skills, the entire Boundless Fire Domain had flourished even more. Mu Ying, using the origin of her sacred flame, combined the power of many strong individuals to ignite the headquarters of the Boundless Fire Domain, placing it in the world of molten flames, making the name Boundless Fire Domain truly deserving of its reputation. Let's go. Let's meet this person. Behind them, little E and Yin Qi appeared, accompanying the two matriarchs. The four of them then left the main palace and headed toward the conference hall. I am Shenfu, envoy from the center of the human realm, here to visit the Boundless Fire Domain. Inside the hall, there were only two figures sitting quietly, Feng Wanner and a very young, handsome man. As soon as the sound of footsteps was heard from outside, the man, who had been sitting silently, rose and smiled. Creak. The door opened, and the six of them stood inside the hall. The atmosphere was heavy and silent. Your Excellency, as an envoy from the center of the human realm, may I ask why you have come to the Boundless Fire Domain today? Kai Lin, the strong woman with the bearing of a queen, remained calm in such a situation. She raised her delicate hand, and a tin-colored little snake, faintly visible, coiled silently in front of her. At the moment the snake appeared, it was as if the entire world's power lost its color. Tin-colored? Looks like the Boundless Fire Domain is not to be underestimated. Shenfu was secretly startled. As soon as his eyes met the snake, a long-forgotten sense of unease surged within him. I am here on the order of the Realm King, to invite Domain Lord Xiao Yin to the center of the human realm for an important discussion. Shenfu glanced around before directly getting to the point. What? At these words, everyone in the room was shocked. Even the five present, with the exception of Kai Lin, who remained calm, revealed violent killing intent on their faces. Xiao Yin had already given instructions. There were too many hidden dangers in the center of the human realm. Many powerful figures in the Great Thousand World knew this, and it might even be related to the disappearance of the Xiao clan. Unless absolutely necessary, no one should easily interfere with this peak force. These guys. Shenfu, sensing the eerie silence in the hall, felt an intense unease building up. Shenfu's strength was only at the first stage of the reincarnation stage, and if it weren't for the backing of the center of the human realm, he would likely have been torn to pieces by the many powerful figures in the Boundless Fire Domain for speaking such words here. After all, Xiao Yan's prestige in the Boundless Fire Domain was close to that of a divine throne, with countless humans supporting him as their domain lord. This guy, when did he get the courage to come here and cause trouble? Those people from the center of the human realm must be busy suppressing the unstable seals. Who would have the time to deal with Xiao Yan? This guy's aura is similar to that of the center of the human realm, but there are differences. This is getting interesting. Heavenly Emperor, I will help you this time, but remember to repay me for this favor after a long time. Inside a private room, Hun Tianhao spoke with a strange expression. After finishing, he pushed the door open and walked out toward the hall. His words were cryptic, like those of a madman. This matter had to be handled by him personally, or if someone else ruined his plan, it would be a huge loss. Most importantly, the Boundless Fire Domain had just gotten on the right track. Xiao Yan hadn't solved the issues with the Xiao clan yet, so he couldn't die now. What you say? The void rippled, and an immense force spread out. Just as Shenfu's face slightly lifted into a faint smile, two figures slowly emerged from the doorway, their voices filled with a soft yet unquestionable authority. Second brother. As the voice echoed, before the figures even appeared, the hall erupted in excitement. After all, the aura they exuded was enough to stir everyone. The two figures, as if ghosts, silently entered the hall one after another. Upon seeing them, Little E could not help but let out a joyful gasp, her eyes filled with excitement. She quickly strode forward and placed a hand on Xiao Yan's shoulder. Do you have any proof, as you keep claiming to be an emissary from the human realm center? Xiao Yan nodded at Little E and then slowly approached Shenfu, focusing his gaze on the man. Poof! Although Shenfu appeared relatively handsome, under Xiao Yan's gaze, he felt an invisible pressure suppressing the power within his body, causing his eyelids to twitch violently. You are lying. Your soul power is in turmoil, and there's an ominous fluctuation within you. Xiao Yan shook his head, his eyes filled with a murderous intent. To pretend to be an emissary from the human realm center and step into the Boundless Fire Domain was enough to get him killed dozens of times over. Xiao, are you openly defying the orders of the human realm center? If this matter gets back to them, you won't come out unscathed. Xun'er shrugged slightly, a sneer appearing on his lips. He slowly raised his hand, and a silver halo carrying a mysterious fluctuation spread out. The tables in the hall instantly exploded, and wooden shards flew everywhere. However, Xiaoyan's expression remained calm. The power seemed to contain an aura of supreme law that overpowered everything, rendering Xiaoyan and the others unable to resist. If you're not going to talk, then die. Once you're dead, I'll have countless ways to explore your memories. Xiaoyan sneered, and his body swiftly moved across the hall. His hand raised, bringing with it a violent flame force that twisted the void as it attacked Xun'er's vital points. As for the strange power that seemed to be from the human realm center, it gradually disappeared under the influence of the sacred flame's aura. Damn! Sensing the swirling power within Xiaoyan, Xun'er's pupils contracted. Domain Master, stop! This guy cannot be killed. Just as the attack was about to land on Xun'er, an old voice suddenly echoed from outside the hall. Han Tianhao, Feng Wan'er, and the others exchanged glances. Due to the special nature of this matter, they hadn't informed this man. Moreover, Han Tianhao had always been responsible for the intelligence network of the boundless fire domain, often vanishing without a trace. So now, this guy is not an emissary from the human realm center. He comes from a mysterious sect called the Dragon Watching Sect. The sect leader of this sect was once a threefold reincarnation stage expert, but according to records, he made some mistakes and was expelled by the human realm center. He's been wandering around the Great Thousand Worlds ever since. These details, of course, were obtained from the Space Intelligence Trade Tower. Han Tianhao looked at Xun'er with a pleased expression, adding a final clarification. It's true. Mu Yingying and Kailin exchanged a glance, surprised by Han Tianhao's information. However, they did allow him to manage the intelligence network for the boundless fire domain, and some of this information was naturally beyond their knowledge. Xiaoyan retracted his power, his brow furrowing as he stared at Han Tianhao. Domain Master, although the Dragon Watching sect may not be a top-tier force in the human realm, its sect leader possesses a very rare dragon crystal. Dragon crystals are incredibly precious, and this ties in with your command for me to find the Dragon Clan's stronghold. Han Tianhao smiled faintly. How do you know these secrets? Space Intelligence Trade Tower. Hearing Han Tianhao's words, Xun'er's face trembled violently, and fear began to appear in his eyes. In that case, I'll get straight to the point. The Dragon Watching sect has what you need. If you have the courage, follow me. Glancing around at the people in the hall, Xun'er spoke directly, for this was his goal. However, the sect leader of the Dragon Watching sect only sent Xun'er to invite Xiaoyan. As for pretending to be an emissary from the human realm center, it seemed like a decision Xun'er made on his own. Domain Master, the situation in the Great Thousand Worlds is unstable. You should remain here to guard the boundless fire domain. As for the Dragon Watching sect, my subordinates and Little E will go together. What do you think, Domain Master? Han Tianhao appeared to be deep in thought, before looking at Xiaoyan and asking, removing any lingering doubts in his mind. Well, I suppose it has to be that way. Hearing Han Tianhao volunteering, Mu Yingying nodded, her expression filled with longing as she spoke. The Immortal Realm, a place recognized as beautiful by the entire Great Thousand Worlds. If there were an opportunity to step into it, witness its grandeur, and absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth, it would surely be a great fortune. Immortal Realm? What's going on? Xun'er blinked, also curious. Someone from the Immortal Realm sent an invitation scroll. It seems to be related to alchemy matters. The specific details probably need to be consulted with the Yao clan's clan leader. Kailin stepped forward and clarified the situation. Let's go. No time to waste. Let's head there now. I'll leave things here to you for the time being. Xiaoyan finished speaking and hurriedly took Xun'er and Little E, heading toward the Yao clan's residence in the boundless fire domain. This guy. Kailin couldn't help but shake her head slightly as she saw Xiaoyan in such a rush. Her own long-dormant queenly aura seemed to be awakened bit by bit. Always like this. Mu Yingying looked at the three departing and immediately pouted in dissatisfaction, speaking in a complaining tone. Don't worry, you're the one who deserves the credit for the construction in the boundless fire domain. Next time, I'll make sure he acknowledges your contribution. As for this guy, take him to the fire prison. Elder Wind, Senior Hun, this mission with the Dragon Watching sect is of great importance. Unfortunately, none of us can break free. We'll have to trouble both of you. Kai Lin nodded, and then spoke to the two esteemed elders beside her. No problem. Elder Wind and Hun Tianhao exchanged a glance, then easily subdued Shin Fu and prepared to move forward. Sister Kai Lin, I heard the immortal realm is a secluded paradise, completely cut off from the world. The spiritual energy and living beings there are far beyond the human realm, and it's a place everyone dreams of for eternal life. As the hall was left with only Kai Lin and Mu Yingying suddenly dropped her matriarch demeanor and excitedly grabbed Kai Lin's hand, speaking eagerly. Don't worry. Once things in the Great Thousand Worlds are settled, let's find a time to go to the immortal realm together. At this moment, the two women were like young girls in a bridal chamber, whispering some secret thoughts as they leaned on the desk. Soon after, a soft sigh echoed through the hall. The Doqi continent has the flower sect, and Yun mysteriously disappeared from there. The immortal realm also has a strange force called the Flower God Palace.